Hello and welcome to Entrepreneur Radio and TV show with Terri Levine. I'm your co-host Velma Gallant, and I'm excited to be here today, and I'm excited to have you here today. You can connect with Terri, me, and other like-minded heart-based business owners in the Entrepreneurs with Terri Levine Facebook group, so go check it out. And we'd love for you to subscribe, like, and we always love those 5-star reviews. Make sure you comment with what you're getting out of the show, because we love hearing that too. Today's quote: if someone is out in the desert walking around, they're going to be thirsty. You just have to ask them what they want to drink. Arthur Blank. Today, we are talking about the conversion equation, once again, with our special guest and the actual host of this show, Terri Levine. Terri is the founder of Entrepreneur and is a business marketing consultant who assists businesses worldwide with business growth, sales, and marketing. She has more than 40 years of business experience, encompassing work with more than 6,000 business owners and entrepreneurs in a variety of industries. She is also the best-selling author of dozens of books, and we're covering one of her great books today. She has a radio show and a TV show and is also a keynote speaker. Terri has a passion for helping businesses to grow with their own personal experience, with her own personal experience gained while building multiple successful businesses from the ground up. Terri has created Entrepreneur, the Entrepreneur Cause, teaching business owners to do business heart to heart. I know I stuttered through that. And what I really want to point out, though, is that while Terri has a passion for helping businesses growing with her own personal experience, she's teaching them to build their business with their own personal experience. So it really actually was an important stutter. So welcome to the show, Terri.
It's great to be here. I'm excited to share, and we are going to have a discussion from the conversion equation. And it's such an honor to be here with the co-host with the mostest, Velma.
Okay, so we again are talking about conversion equation, and we're looking at chapter number 2. One of the things that I want to point out before we get started, though, is one of the things I'm appreciating about your book is the case studies that are in there. So they are actual examples of your client family members that you've supported with each of the topics that we talk about throughout the book. And I think what's really valuable about that is that the people who are reading can connect a little bit better to what it is that you're sharing, because you're sharing a story with us, an actual example, so they can connect. Maybe they connect with it directly, maybe they can make the connections to their own business, but I think that's super valuable in there.
Yeah, one of the things that I really wanted to do with this book is teach the lesson and then have the reader, for right now, live vicariously through a real client or many real clients who implemented exactly what they read. So as readers are engaged with the book, they can say, oh, that person is like me, or that person is like me. Let me model what they did, because here's how they used it successfully. So you're not just getting a lesson. After you get the lesson, you get examples, real life case studies of real people just like you that will help you apply and implement. And at some point, if you choose that you also want to become a client family member, you, like me, can actually put to use what's in the book in your business to create multiple 6-7 figures and use a proven equation, which we call the conversion equation.
Perfect. Let's start out with one of the things that you pointed in the very first chapter is how important it is to track your leads and sales. And I know that seems to be common sense, but a lot of people don't. They like jump in and go. And why is it you're inviting your readers to track their leads and sales?
Well, first of all, everything in business should be based on KPI, key performance indicators. So you know what's working, how is this happening, is this working well or not working well? So if you don't know how many leads you have coming in, you don't know if you need a lot more, or if you have a ton of them and you simply aren't converting them. So we study, and I teach all my client family members to study this. How many leads do you have on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and yearly basis? You'll get to see two things. One, how many are qualified leads by how many actually convert, and or two, if you're not converting a lot of them, are you falling apart in the conversion process where they're not seeing enough benefit or value? If you don't understand those things, you just keep going and getting more and more and more leads that never convert, which means you make no money. Or you go and you get very few leads because you keep using strategies and tactics that aren't effective, and you scratch your head saying, why am I not making the income I desire and deserve? So you have to understand KPIs. Leads and conversions are two metrics that you have to know in your business. In fact, if you're a client family member of mine and you come to one of my masterminds, like you're coming to in Mexico with me shortly, and I say, how many leads did you have last week, last month, last quarter? How many converted? And you don't know that number, it's a hint, then you actually don't understand your business. And you, as the business owner, you need to sit in the CEO chair and you need to understand your KPIs, key performance indicators.
Well, and I think it's really important too, because if you find a strategy and a tactic that are working well for you, and you can see that, then you can say, okay, how do I increase it? How do I do, the 80-20 rule? How do I spend more time on this 20% that's working really well? And you can actually start to see what's working and use it to your advantage.
Exactly. And when you know your KPIs, you know that something is working. Let me give you a real life example. So we use some artificial intelligence that actually sends text messages to our prospects. Now, we don't know who's qualified and who's not. So the first text message that we were sending out was a qualification message. So it would say something like, hey, are you still looking for more clients in your business? If somebody said no, we know that they're not right. If somebody said stop, remove, right, okay. And that message got us about a 33%. Yeah, I think it was 33% of the people that responded. So it's pretty good. I changed the message slightly the other day. I'm not going to reveal what that is. I changed it slightly. That was on Friday. This is just a couple of days later when you and I are here having our conversation. And I looked this morning and we have a 59% response rate, which is obviously much better. So I measure, and because I measure, I tweak, I change. I know, oh, this is working better, or oh, that didn't work well, let's change. And most business owners that I've dealt with over these 40 something years, they do the same thing over and over and over again, whether it works or whether it doesn't work. And they're not looking at their KPIs. Just imagine if you wanted to lose weight and you went on a certain weight loss thing and you weren't losing any weight for a month or two. Most likely you'd say, let me find a better weight loss plan because this one doesn't work. So you're going to measure everything in your personal life. Start measuring everything in your business. I know that would resonate with you. Yeah.
It makes total sense. And it kind of makes me laugh because it doesn't matter, using the weight loss. It doesn't matter if you're using a scale or you're using your clothing. You still have a way of measuring it.
Right. That's right. Exactly.
Brilliant. Okay. So in chapter 2, you talk a little bit about innovation. Your business must innovate and be unique. The entire purpose of your core unique positioning statement is to help you stand out from the crowd. Talk a little bit about why we want to be unique and why we want to stand out.
It fascinates me to this day when I go to someone's website. Most often it looks like everybody else's website. It says the same platitudes that has me going, so what? If you look exactly the same as everyone else in your business or in your industry, and I want to hire you, and you look like the same person that I can see on everybody's website or in everybody's emails or in everybody's social media, I'm going to hire the person who is the least expensive because they're all lookalikes. They're all cookie cutters. And I like to teach by real life. So I'll give an example. About a year and a half ago, I decided to look for a new personal trainer, and I wanted to actually use a virtual personal trainer because we're in the middle of a pandemic, so it made sense to me. And so I went online and I probably looked at 20 or 30 virtual personal trainers. They all not only looked alike, they had the same exact kind of platitudes and what they were going to do. And a lot of it was, so what? I'm going to meet with you on Zoom. Of course you are. It's virtual. So what? Nothing spoke to me. And then I found this one that was totally different than the rest. They had a guarantee. They talked about a unique process they had. They talked about the fact it wasn't on Zoom, it was on an app. There was all kinds of different stuff. And they changed your training program every week so that your body didn't create muscle memory and all of these different things. So I said, I want to talk to them. I got on the phone with them, and their program literally was 10 times more than anybody else's program I investigated. However, they stood out. They had a guarantee. They had a unique program. I hired them. I don't regret hiring them. I'm still working with them, signed up for another 2 years. That's why you want to stand out. When people are, especially nowadays, inundated with messaging on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and blah, blah, they're in their emails and there's ads. I mean, there's ads everywhere. You want to be the one that, again, with the conversion equation, interrupts and people go, whoa, wait a minute, what's that? And the thing that's different is the thing that gets our attention and creates our interest. That is key number one in every business, as you know.
Absolutely. In that same vein, one of the things that you suggested in here, and I understand the strategy behind it, is do most of your colleagues' websites look the same? Do they all have the same generic headline? And are they trying to be all things to all people? And I know that's a tough one because there are a lot of coaches out there, for example, because I know you do quite a bit of work with coaches, is, well, so who do you serve? And it's like, well, this is good for, and they'll make a great big list of all the people that it is good for. And I think that really makes it difficult for you to stand out when you're trying to talk to everyone. It's like trying to make everyone happy. You're just not going to do it.
Right. So my very first business, going back, ages ago, I was a speech language pathologist. So as a speech language pathologist with my master's degree, I was taught to diagnose and then to do therapy literally on every kind of disorder: language, speech, articulation, memory, cognition. I can go on and on. I decided to specialize. I didn't know anything about business, sales, or marketing. I graduated from school and they didn't teach us any of that. They just here, be a speech pathologist. And so I started my own clinic, and I realized I couldn't be a generalist. So the very first thing that I did was I decided what age range I wanted to work with. And I love, love, love working with kids. So I decided, number one, I wanted to work with kids 0 to 5, very specific target audience. Number two, I chose a disorder that those children would have, which for me was something that I'm very passionate about to this day, which was Down syndrome. And so instead of marketing, I'm a speech language pathologist and I could help an adult with Alzheimer's and somebody who just had a head injury, I started with one audience. When I got known for that audience and got really, really expansive in working with that audience, then I added another audience. When I started in the coaching and consulting business, and you mentioned it, I actually started as a life coach. That was my first certification, was that life coaching. And so I realized that most life coaches that I was talking to were like, oh, I could help you with your personal issues and your relationships and your marriage and your weight loss and overcoming fear and your mindset. I'm like, whoa, very specific. I'm a career coach, and what I help you do is I help women, specific audience, who are between 30 and 50 years old, more specific audience, who are in corporate America, more specific audience, and who don't believe they're living their passion, move into the career that they really want to be in. Very specific. As you know, I got 30 clients in 30 days, right? So, and then I built my, multi-million-dollar business from that. You must be specific. You must be a specialist and not a generalist. Generalists don't do well, especially in coaching and consulting, any kind of therapy, personal development. You have to be very specific. I'll give you one more example. I have a current client family member who is a physical therapist, was really struggling. They couldn't break $200,000, which for physical therapy is very, very low. And they were such a generalist. They were helping everyone. And we narrowed it down to we help weekend warriors who have back pain. Weekend warriors who have back pain. Now, we're even more specific lately, male weekend warriors ages 20 to 40 who have back pain. Now their practice is doing right now about 450,000. I believe they'll be on track to do a couple of million in the next few years. Specific is better, Velma.
Much better, much better. So I think that's the most important parts to bring out of chapter number 2. I know you talk about your core unique positioning statement, but I know we go into it in more detail later on. So I'm going to leave that little sound bite here and invite our listeners to come back and continue with our little review of the conversion equation. So is there anything important you'd like to share with our listeners?
I do, because Velma has talked a couple times today about core unique positioning statement. And we're not talking about a unique selling proposition. We're not talking about an elevator pitch at all. So my recommendation is that you go right now over to moderncoachingmethod.com. Why? When you go there, there is a masterclass, a totally free training at Modern Coaching Method. And when you go there, you're going to see and hear a variety of core unique positioning statements from my own client family members like Velma. And you're going to relate to some of them. And you, like me, are going to be able to go, oh my goodness, I haven't been separating myself. I haven't been differentiating myself. And you're going to learn the structure of how to do that. So moderncoachingmethod.com. Now, then you create your own core unique positioning statement. And here's what I'm going to invite you to do. Our Facebook community, Entrepreneurs with Terri Levine, it's not like other communities. It's a special community by invitation only. And it's actually me in there. Put your core unique positioning statement in there. Join the group and say, Terri, this is my core unique positioning statement. For free, I will actually help you. I will tweak it and I will make it better. How's that for an offer, Velma?
That's brilliant, because I was actually going to invite everybody to come to the Facebook group. So, so now I don't have to. So yes, it's Entrepreneurs with Terri Levine on Facebook. You are going to connect directly with Terri there. She is in the group on an ongoing daily basis. And every Tuesday she has a brilliant live training there. So you are definitely going to want to go and check it out. And I'll be there too. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and we always love those 5-star reviews. Thanks again, Terri.
Thank you, Velma.